Jakarta with the latest now. Let's now speak to Randy Mulyanto, who's a journalist based in Indonesia's capital, Jakarta. I want to ask you more, Randy, about the message that ordinary Indonesians are trying to send through these protests right now.
Hi, Folly. Thank you for having me. I think the message that comes out of these demonstrations is enough is enough. Basically, Indonesians are, seeing this news over the past few weeks, obviously even months, obviously they are in a very tight position, I would say. The job market is worsening, and the state budget is basically cutting down expenses to fund other projects as well. The tax collection scheme, I would say it's being intensified. So, given obviously what Sharina just mentioned, that these MPs are receiving, proposed salary packages up to even more than 10 times than the minimum wage in the capital, Jakarta, obviously people are growing more frustrated over this plan, I would say. But certainly, obviously, for these Indonesians, their message is loud and clear, especially on social media, especially for those who are not out in the streets. I've been seeing people, friends, basically on social media accounts, platforms, they're sharing their anger, basically reposting stories. So this is how we have come down to.
Tell us more about who's been protesting. Is it people from all walks of life in Indonesia, or are there certain segments of the society that are more angry than others?
That's right. I would say, those protesting are representatives of the working class in Indonesia. We have to remind our viewers that it's not just those in the capital, Jakarta, or the surrounding cities, but it's also in other cities outside of the Jakarta metropolitan area. So obviously the working class, basically who are working in formal jobs as well as office jobs, they're concerned that obviously their living costs are becoming higher and higher. Obviously, they need to pay taxes as well. So this is their way to show the government, I think, that obviously they want change.
The unrest is no doubt a key test for President Prabowo Subianto. We've heard him apologize for the excessive use of force that led to the motorcycle driver's death. But what else does he need to do to quell this anger we're seeing? And how should the government respond if it wants to regain trust?
That's right, Folly. I think the government can do two things. First is the fact that the government needs to ensure the public and, commit to its words that the trial affecting these 7 police officers need to be conducted thoroughly and transparently. We're talking about the death of a 21-year-old online motorcycle taxi driver, basically yesterday evening when, we saw a police vehicle ramming into this young man. So obviously the government needs to ensure the public that it will be done in a transparent manner. And I think the second thing, if it's possible, obviously, for the government to basically scrap its plans and for the parliament as a whole to scrap this plan of the proposed housing allowance of up to 10 times the minimum wage, for example, as well as trying to quell the public anger, reducing the proposed benefits, because obviously for many Indonesians, their benefits and their salaries are way higher compared to most Indonesians.
Despite the president apologizing for the use of force, we have seen police use, excessive force in some of the live pictures that we've seen, tear gas, water cannon. Do you think there's a risk today that the government will resort to more security rather than dialogue? And what precedent would that set for civil liberties under the president's leadership?
I think it remains to be seen. Obviously, I think it depends on the future developments. But I think for many Indonesians, obviously, the images, the scenes when, the police firing tear gas at the football match audience, in East Java a few years ago, that those scenes are still fresh in people's minds. So I think obviously they are concerned over this move by the police. So obviously if the police and the government want to make sure that to quell the public anger, I think the police needs to reduce these kinds of, I would say, excessive force against these protesters.
Randy, thank you so much for talking to us about this. Thank you for painting us what is a clear picture there of what's happening in Indonesia. Randy Mulyanto, a journalist based in Jakarta with the latest there. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Folly.